Have you ever heard a story so powerful it could literally stop an army in its tracks? Well, today we're going to dive into an ancient tale that did exactly that. It's a story about a law that doesn't govern people, but trees, and it reveals something really profound about survival and about strength.
I mean, seriously, how can a story stop a war? It sounds almost like something out of a myth, right? But the answer is rooted in a real, high-stakes family drama. A fight that got so bitter, relatives were literally about to draw swords and shed blood over a shared resource.
So, picture this. The scene is the bank of the Rohini River. You've got the Buddhist family on one side and his wife's family on the other. These are relatives, they're neighbors, and yet they're on the very brink of battle, arguing over who gets the rights to the river's water. Tensions have just boiled over, and it really looks like violence is about to erupt. And just as things are about to kick off, a figure appears in the sky, right above the middle of the river. It's the Buddha. And he doesn't yell, he doesn't command them to stop. Instead, he just gets their complete attention, comes down to the riverbank, and starts to tell them a story from a long, long time ago. The Buddha then transports his audience, and us, really, away from that tense battlefield and into a vast, ancient sal forest way up in the Himalayas. This is a world that isn't inhabited by humans, but by tree spirits or deities. Now, in this world, you've basically got two ways to live. You can be part of the dense forest, where all the trees grow super close together, their branches and roots all tangled up, creating this powerful collective shield. Or you can stand all by yourself in an open field. Sure, you might be a magnificent, huge tree, but you're completely exposed to whatever nature throws at you. So, the tree spirits who lived in this forest, they were given a choice. They had to decide where to make their homes, and that one decision was going to reveal everything about what they cared about most. Was it community, or was it individual glory? And this is where things get really interesting, because this choice split them into two very different groups. The wise ones, led by the Bodhisattva, who was the Buddha in a past life, they said, hey, let's stick together, there's safety in numbers. But the other group, the unwise, they just scoffed at that idea. They wanted prestige, they wanted power. So they chose to live in those big, solitary trees near the human villages, so they could get offerings and feel important. And then one day, the sky just turned black. A massive storm, the kind of storm you only see once in a lifetime, started brewing on the horizon. This wasn't just a bit of wind and rain. This was a test. The wind just slammed into the land with this unbelievable fury. It was howling through the clearings and crashing against the wall of trees, a force so powerful it could literally reshape the entire landscape. But when that wind hit the dense sal forest, something incredible happened. Because all the trees were so tightly packed together, leaning on each other, their roots all interconnected, the storm's power was just diffused. It raged over the top of them, but it couldn't break them. Together, they stood firm. But for those magnificent, isolated trees standing all alone, it was a totally different story. With nothing to lean on, no one to share the burden of the wind, they were torn right out of the earth. Their branches were shattered, and all that pride was just laid to waste. So the unwise deities who chased after individual glory were now totally homeless and terrified. Their grand homes were just splintered wood. With absolutely nowhere else to go, they had to travel, humbled and defeated, right back to the very forest community they had abandoned and ask for shelter from the ones they used to look down on. So, as these humbled refugees arrived, the Bodhisattva gathered everyone together. It was time to explain the fundamental rule they had all just witnessed in such a devastating way. And he gave it a name. He called it Rukkha Dhamma. We can translate that as the law of the trees, or the law of the forest. And it's a simple, undeniable truth. There is strength in unity, and there is total vulnerability in isolation. It means that protecting each other is the greatest defense you can have against any storm. The entire lesson was then boiled down into one powerful, unforgettable line that echoed through the forest and, really, across time. Unity is supreme for all. Not just for trees, not just for spirits, but for absolutely everyone. And with that, the Buddha finished his story. So let's snap back to the banks of the Rohini River. The armed men are just standing there in silence, the tail of the trees just hanging in the air between them. The story had done what no command, no order ever could. The warring families suddenly saw themselves in that story. They were the solitary trees, ready to be destroyed by the storm they were creating themselves. They finally understood the foolishness of their conflict. They laid down their weapons and they agreed to share the water. They realized that their connection as a family was so much more valuable than the river they were fighting over.
And so this ancient story leaves all of us with a question. And it's just as relevant today as it was on that riverbank thousands of years ago. In our own lives, in our own communities, when the storms of conflict or crisis show up, where do we choose to stand? Alone in the clearing or together in the forest?